who can benefit from this training? If you are into IT field, working either directly or indirectly with the database systems, then you can definitely benefit from this training. For example, system analyst, database designer, data architect, any BI data warehouse professionals, they call with some other names than data architect. Then database administrators who may not be developing the designs, but they maintain a database. Often they are responsible to implement certain changes came up with the data modelers or data architects. So then software engineers who will kind of write applications that access data. So these are the roles in general who look for a data modeling training. The high level view of what will be learned from this training, we can classify into these 4 data modeling concepts: relational data model, dimensional modeling, and then ERWIN software. So in these topics, this is going to be the foundation for data modeling. So this is just a pick of few items. We will be learning them in very detail, and then this will lay a foundation for data modeling. We will start with learning a data modeling language. Then using that data modeling language, we will develop entity relationship diagrams. So if you know entity relationship diagram languages, we call it notations. So if you know a few important notations, it is going to be very easy for you to express your designs and communicate. And then we will learn those important languages used for data modeling. Then different type of entities, relationships, attributes, and then complex type of relationship when it comes to generalization and specialization. And then various specific type of situations, how we can model. Those things will be learned as part of this section. Then we will learn relational model, which is the foundation for all relational SQL database management systems. So if you we have learned relational model in a way which is kind of we traditionally, I don't know specifically for you, but normally how we learn is we start with SQL, which is actually a set of instructions to read, write data or update data, and that is the direction through which we understand relational SQL databases. But at the same time, if you understand the foundation of that database, then it is going to be a kind of, it will make you more comfortable to work with any database. No, not specific to SQL Server. Normally, if I work on SQL Server for many years, then I will feel like I know SQL Server, but I do not know Oracle. I don't know Teradata. That kind of a feelings will develop because we are too much aligned with that particular database dialect. But at the same time, if you look at all these databases from a different perspective of foundation, on which they are built, then we will feel equally comfortable to work with any database. So we will learn the foundation of relational database management systems, and then that is another part of this training. Then we will learn dimensional modeling. So dimensional modeling is a special type of data modeling. It is data modeling, and but it is a special type of data modeling targeting that we want to analyze. So we want to develop a schema or database schema which is suitable for or suited for data analysis. So we want to simplify a schema and then make a kind of tune it for the best performance. Then we will end up with a dimensional schema. So what are the best practices to develop a dimensional schema is another part of this training. Then software. So if we are learning a technology, and then if we have a software that can automate most of those activities and help us to accomplish data modeling kind of requirements, then implement those techniques we have learned here. So if we have a data modeling software, it will be kind of, we will be more equipped, and we will find it a more enjoyable thing to do any sort of data modeling exercise. if we want to capture things, when we want to communicate, when we want to document, when we want to even read and understand. So these tools will be of tremendous help. So we will be learning all the important functionalities of ERWIN. And then I do have some 12 years experience with ERWIN. So any question if you have about this software, it will be very easy for me to help you because I know almost all the functionalities. Then okay, these are the four things we will cover. So if you ask me what are the other things you may learn after this, we will not be covering as part of this training. So the recent developments, if you ask me what you can do is from a knowledge point of view, the area where you can add is NoSQL related data modeling. So NoSQL, non-relational or big data related, a lot of new data stores came. So these data stores supports different sort of objects. So we will discuss about that later. We can discuss about some top few NoSQL databases and what is supported by them and what is the kind of essential purpose. But that, although that is not the actually integral part of this training, but we will be discussing that as well to get a complete 360-degree view of database available and then data modeling techniques. But this is not going to be very detailed. We will discuss at a conceptual level. Okay, so this is the actually this will give you a high-level picture about what topics going to be covered. Do you have any question on this?
Harish, just a quick question. Maybe you don't want to really elaborate on it, but I just wanted to know what are the career opportunities after we have this skill set of data modeling.
Okay.
A brief note would be fine.
Okay. So from a career opportunity point of view, let's discuss how in a typical in a typical way how it happens. So normally when organization hire people as for the data modeler position, it doesn't look for too much experience. So let's say there is a data modeler role. It is going to be a kind of a beginner level data modeler responsibility. So you will be okay. There is some noise. Dilip, you can mute yourself, and then when you want to ask us something, you can unmute and ask. So the entry almost okay. There will be associate data modeler. All those variations can come, but in the beginning, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year experience in that scope. Normally, there will be data modelers. Those who will work with one project. So they will have database design, reading the requirements, and then probably maintaining the existing database, and then data models, and also design database for one particular design and model and design database for one particular application. So those kind of a little bit narrow responsibility will be assigned to data modeler. And then to get into this job, not necessarily you need to learn all the theoretical foundations. Normally you will get here with kind of some basic knowledge and your interest to pursue the career. But when you come to from this a natural, you will evolve to a data architect from this position. So once you become data architect, you will have overall architectural responsibility. Let's say if you have an organization where you have an information system which kind of encompasses a lot of applications and databases. There may be several applications and database at a operational level, and then this organization may have a data warehouse, or maybe one or more many data warehouses where this data is moved and retained for future use. And then you may be having systems around it built for data analysis. Then So often we may access the data warehouse for analyzing some information, or we may take out data from the data warehouse to another data mart, and then we may analyze those are okay. If I draw a picture, let's say there are many databases at transaction level, and then we will ELT that to a data warehouse, and from here we might do analysis, or we may create small data marts to do analysis. And then this is the overall data architecture of an organization. Sometimes we call enterprise data architecture. So a data architect will have responsibility to oversee, design, and maintain this type of an architecture. Which there are many combinations you can come up with, whichever is suitable to an organization. A data architect has to come up with. Practically, if it is already there, that architect has to maintain and improve it. So that way responsibility will go. Then you may become senior data architect, and then further you might progress in that career. So if you ask me, if you learn data architect, all these fundamentals, this training, get familiarized with one tool and all those concepts around it, then you will be able to you will be able to apply and qualify for data architect positions. So this way you may naturally evolve to this. Then it is better you get trained on all these techniques, so that you can be an effective data architect. Sometimes maybe you don't have a data modeler experience until now. You may have some experience working with the database. Then if you develop that knowledge, you can go to and apply for data architect positions. And then data architect is a very general term, right? And there will be different BI architect. Some people call it BI architect, data warehouse architect. That way, different uh, positions, name it is called. But it actually, by learning all this, what you will become is a data architect. You can easily go and apply for data architect positions. Is that clear, Dilip?
Yeah, Harish. This is Sugnath who asked the question. Yeah, it was pretty clear. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So this is actually the primary role, data architect. Everything else what you see here is are the roles surrounding that. So this is another way of saying it. These two roles are what we are learning is actually data architect essentials. Then all other responsibilities are actually surroundings. Okay. So if you are new to data modeling, let's start with what is data modeling. Data modeling you can visualize in the context of developing an information system. Let's say when I say information system, what exactly it is. And an information system is a collection of applications and databases. They work in synchronization to achieve something. They will effectively automate business process. So we can understand data modeling. Actually, our focus is on learning data modeling in the context of building an information system. So there, the responsibility will be like this. Let's say this is an information system which includes a lot of databases and a lot of applications. They are working with that database. So there may be a kind of a 2-tier, 3-tier, n-tier application architecture in that organization. That is fine. But just assume that these are databases and these are applications. So in a typical IT organization, you will have a very large team, those who are responsible to develop these applications. It includes software engineers, software architects, and then kind of an analyst who will interact with the customers and get the requirement and translate, and then hand over to the software engineering team. Software engineering team will kind of understand the requirement and translate into designs and then implement them. So software engineers will implement them. Okay, in the same process, you will need these databases as well. So we need to design database, maintain them, and then the organization will have different needs from the databases, from data, to be specific. The needs will be, one is support the transactions or business transactions, and at the same time, once you have data, you may want to kind of maintain it and then use it for reporting and analysis. So transaction processing systems will capture and keep it, and then that may be a one-time job for applications to capture and keep it in a database. But once you have the data arrived in the system, it will be used for analysis. So that is why you will find all the data warehouse projects are larger than OLTP projects. Okay, so in this information engineering development process, we have software engineers, software architects developing this application. We'll have data modelers and data architects architecting their data management, their actually enterprise data architecture will be there, and then these data modelers and data architects will design database and then implement them in the database. So in a typical process, these two teams, software engineering and data architecture team, has to work together. In some situations, they may be same people as well. So there may be software architects who understand data architecture as well, and they will actively develop database as well. It is very evident that this particular process, database design, has to go a step ahead of software engineering, because these applications are going to use these databases. It is not that these databases will use these applications. Database will have a logical structure. Database will have correct logical structure. It will be stored and maintained. Applications are going to use that. So we need to have databases, a sound design in the database, so that these applications also will show some consistency in the way it is working. Okay, so what you see in applications are the process automation, and what you see in the database are the kind of data produced during that business process. So functional, and this is data, and then data architect is responsible for this. Data architect is not responsible for this. Software architect is responsible for this. Okay. So what is data modeling? Data modeling is the process to analyze. This is the responsibility, analyze data requirements of an information system and define the structures, analyze and define the structures needed to support that system. So then data modeler or data architect, what they does, go through all the requirements. We are going to learn it kind of firsthand. In the first class, what we are going to do is we will have a set of requirements written in the text format, no database or anything, no diagrams. We will be analyzing one by one those requirements. They will be expressed in terms of a business requirements, so which is oriented towards the business. So you go through one line by line, you go through the requirements and then translate slowly that to a conceptual data model, conceptual, logical, and physical. So we will build a database from a set of requirements. That is the heart of data modeling. So we will be analyzing a set of requirements, and then we will be looking at those requirements from a very specific point of view, which is data requirements perspective. Because there will be a requirements document. If I read, I can find a lot of requirements that are relevant to data architecture, many more requirements that are relevant to software applications. So some behavioral aspects that may be relevant to applications, some of them will be relevant to data architecture. So we will be analyzing them from a data requirements point of view. And then data requirements most likely will be buried into those requirements. They are not going to be very evident. So we have to understand, and then we have to go back to the subject matter expert, and then we have to kind of collaborate, and then restructure our thoughts, and then finally we have to come up with a sound design. Then analyze. What we will analyze, a data modeler will analyze data requirements, and then what we will do, define the structures. Actually, define the structures is in the sense, you can say finally the tables and their relationship and other objects which support them. and which we define in the form of a data model. So a data model using Irwin or any other tool, or sometimes using a paper, what we define, that is actually the outcome of a data modeling process. So we will define the structures in the form of a data model document. So very simple, right? It is very similar to building a house. If I want to build a house, let's say I will first thing what I will think about is my constraints, how much money I have. Then with that money I want to build the best perfect house. So I will be kind of exploring the details, and from a construction point of view I'll be contacting an architect come civil engineer. I will contact and they will come up with a sketch of what I want to build. And then at this level, in during this level, this is the design phase. In this level there will be multiple interaction between me, let's say you call me an end user of the house. There will be a lot of interaction between architect and me. So we will be negotiating on the outcome, how the house will be, what are the constraints, and those things we will be negotiating. And at the one point when we have an agreement on what should be the end product, we will hand over to the building team and then make sure, oversee that everything is going fine. The building team will build this. So very similar way you can imagine a data modeler. Data modeler will interact, capture all the requirements. Let's say, just assume this person is a subject matter expert and this is a data modeler, and then will understand all the requirements from, when I say subject matter expert, I'm talking about a person who understands that business. So understand all the requirements and then translate that into a data model. And then there will be multiple interactions in this process to come up with the right data model. Once you have confidence on this, you think that this is logically correct through several iteration between the subject matter expert and data modeler, or you say business and data modeler. So once you have these several iterations which confirm that you have got the correct logical structures, then you can build that into your information system or build that into the database. Then applications will be built around it which will access the data. Okay, so normally if you have this system design, then only you will be able to effectively design these applications. Then practically there are various ways to do that. Okay, if you think that there is a software engineering project, you cannot do this upfront and it will go in parallel, then you will use some adapters in between. Adapters in the sense you implement all your this functional needs here. Then the access to the database, you put it into a specific layer so that when database system structure changes, those layer can be easily updated. So we can have some adapters in the data access layer here. Okay. It is not necessarily a separate software or anything. I'm just telling you that it is conceptual. It can be just a part of this application, which is a data access layer, so that you kind of isolate the data access to one particular place. So you can easily you can change them.
Harish, this is Philip.
Yeah.
Uh, just to ask one question, are there any kind of exams we can write and like for
Get
example, if we are if at all it's a if I'm working on a .NET developer, there are some Microsoft exams, right? We can
yes.
attend those exams. And similarly, are there any exams for data modeling as well?
Data
Certifications
modeling
kind of thing?
certification sort of exams. Are you asking about some certification?
Yeah, can I be a certified data modeler? That's what my question is.
Haha, okay, okay. For data modeling, there is, I have not seen, I cannot say clearly, I have not seen any certification on data modeling. One thing, one certification that is offered by DAMA, that is Data Management Association. You can go to dama.org. There is a certified data professional or some sort of a certification which includes data modeling, but that is not exclusively for data modeling. It will have all the master data management, metadata management, data management. So all those sub areas of data management. So data modeling and data architecture will be one part of it. Then exclusively for data architecture, one certification I have not seen. I don't know. There is another data warehouse institute. One institute is there. Whether they are providing a certification on data modeling, I'm not 100% sure about that. But anyway, one thing I can tell you, there are no well recognized certifications on data modeling. I have seen people discussing in LinkedIn, those who are certified on that, and then they say that don't go for some certification. There is no much value on those certificates. That was a kind of a discussion on this I found, and then the person who were telling that don't waste your time on certification, the person who was saying he was certified on that uh, certified data management professional, I think it is CDMP or something from DAMA. Okay, I hope that answered the clear answer is I don't know, and I think there are no good certifications on data modeling. Okay, so this is what data modeling is. And then do you have any question, Sugna, Dilip? If you have any question, I can answer that. Or if you want, we continue the demo for the next section. Okay, I will show you a little bit about the product. Okay.
One more thing, Harish. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. For example, I'm a data modeler,
Okay.
and how do I start a data modeling? I mean, what is that business requirement do I get? Is it BRD, business requirements document? I get it as an input, or any other documents usually we get?
Yes, that's correct. You will get business requirements. Actually, you can get either business requirements or you can get software system requirements. Yeah, it depends on a different organization, different situations. But if it is business requirements, you can analyze that and then find out. Okay, you can just come up with a database design from that. And then if you get software requirement specification, it will be more clear.
Based on the data, how we get, we need to create the target data.
Yes, I'll show you one example. In next class, we will be doing. Actually, that is the core of data modeling. I will give you exercises as well to do like that. Similar way, I will be giving you situations. Okay. Reading a very big Word document and then analyzing is not practical in a training. So I have this set of requirements. In a raw format, if you get requirements, it will look like this. Let's say these are kind of a business-oriented requirements. I have broken down to simple statements. It may be expressed in a paragraph too, maybe spread over a document. So if you get something like these are actually requirements expressed in a very random manner and not in a proper order. In the sense you cannot expect proper in the sense from a design point of view, it may not be proper. From a business point of view, it may be perfectly correct. So we will get requirements in some text format, and it will be talking about the client and customer and their relationship, what they can do in that system, and then uh, just analyzing these and then identifying the inherent data structures in this, and then coming up with the data models. We will be practicing that. So what we have to come up with by analyzing this is, first what we have to come up with is a conceptual data model. Then we have to do a cycle of review between these two, your data model and then requirements. Then you validate, That is validate until you feel comfortable with the design. And then once you find that design is capable of addressing all these, and then during that conceptual modeling process, you will realize that these requirements are not complete. There are a lot of missing links in this. Then what we have to do is during that conceptual data modeling process, we have to go and contact the business or subject matter expert and then clarify them. Then that will be an input to the conceptual data model. So definitely requirements is going to be incomplete. Whenever any software engineering process, you will get requirements like this, and that are going to be incomplete, and it is perfectly okay. But the completion from a data modeling point of view is the responsibility of the data modeler to go back and ask clarifications for this. If something is not clear, go back and ask, and then requirements will become complete. Okay, so if you ask me how the requirements will come, the raw format you can get is kind of software the business requirements in text format. But when if you have intermediate layers there, someone translate that into software requirements, then there is a high chance that people use UML or process model diagrams to capture those business. Let's say you can model a business process using process models. Then you can model software requirements using UML, using use case diagrams, activity diagrams, data flow diagrams. By using UML diagrams, you can express requirements. So requirements can be expressed in any one of these forms. If it is expressed using diagrams, it will be very easy for you to understand because that has some logical connections between them. If it is expressed in text format, that is the raw format. You can still you can figure out what are the requirements. Is that clear, Dilip? Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I thought I kind
Can
of.
you hear me?
Yes, I can. Suddenly I couldn't find the meeting window, so I thought I have closed the meeting and talking. Okay, is it clear? Did I answer your question? How requirements comes? That was your question, right? Requirements comes in any of this format. Primarily, if it is kind of business-oriented requirements, then it will be business requirements expressed in some text format. Then it all depends on what that project is. Sometimes if requirements are for a analysis, data analysis requirements, you are going to develop a database for analysis, then those requirements will come with some pie charts, then so some sort of graphs, tables through which end user want to analyze data. So you may get a requirement document which has, I want to analyze data these different ways. On the top right top corner, I need a pie chart showing these breakup. That way you will get requirements. That is if it is an analysis database. If it is a transaction processing database, you will get requirements in either text format, which is explaining the business, and or you may get if someone have translated that to a software requirements, then you may get use case diagrams, process models, those requirements expressed in diagrammatic notation. Okay, hope that is clear. Then I'll show you. This is ERWIN data modeler. If you kind of have learned data modeling concepts, and if you are into developing a data model using ERWIN, developing something is very easy. So you can create a new data model. Let's say click on new. Then specific, you can select which type of model you want. I'll explain this in detail later. Then if you want if you have specific database, let's say I want to do it for Oracle. Which database you use in your environment? Is it Oracle or SQL Server? Anything is fine. Don't worry. So you select a appropriate target database. Or if you don't want to select, that is also fine. You can select a logical only model. and then create a model, and then creating entities. Just it's all about dragging and dropping, and then creating relationship lines between them. And this is the modeling process. It is very let me tell you, it's a great fun thing if you know the data modeling techniques, using the tool and designing something, and then understanding it, and then kind of modifying it, and then coming up with the best design is fun. And then let's say if you have an existing database, let me just open my SQL server.
Harish, this is Dilip.
Hi Dilip.
Yeah, I cannot see your screen. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes. Are you not able to see my screen? My God. From the beginning you were not able to see my screen?
No, 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 no. Just now,
Okay,
I
even right now it is stopped. Okay. Now my screen is
Harish, I am able to see your screen though.
okay. So Sugana is able to see. That means it may be a problem at your side, Dilip. Just check it once.
can I close it and open again?
Yeah, just take if you are not able to see, just yeah, just exit and rejoin. We will wait.
Harish, just a quick question again in the meantime.
Okay.
Does Erwin tool come up with any suggestions? Is it intelligent enough to give us any projections like any possible roadblocks with the current design that we are working on? I'm not able to put it in a very practical way. I'm just into
Okay.
a broad assumption.
I can tell you. I think I have understood your question to some extent. I'll check it.
Okay.
It does at a kind of a some basic level. It does. Let's say
Okay.
we develop a design which is actually, just imagine we come up with a design uh, which has some logical flaws in that. Then
Okay.
then
I'm back.
how can I put it? So some of the basic things, okay, some semantics problems in your design, Erwin will be able to detect. And then you there is some additional tool, model validator. Those model validator is not part of Erwin, and it's a separate tool. Actually, that tool has got some 50 checks, model validation checks. So it will go through the model and it will analyze, and it has 50 algorithms to check if there is a kind of a potential pitfall in the model, in the design. So it will just provide you an advice on that. That separate tool was there. It is kind of that's not part of Erwin. It is a separate product, and DB or some other company they sell that. But some basic things Erwin does. Uh, it is not very extensive, I can say. Let's say if you come up with a design which is structurally correct, and then from a database semantics point of view, if it is correct, but it may not be a perfect design. Most likely, an intelligent advice Erwin will not be able to give you.
Okay.
It has some reports like redundant indexes. Okay, let's say if you create indexes in database, some of them may be very redundant. Kind of in that case, there are some model validation reports in Erwin. That will give you a set of a list of indexes which may be redundant. So you can look at it and then delete those indexes that are not required. So yeah, not too much. Some very basic level advices it can give. Yeah.
Sure.
So what I'm going to show you next is This is Erwin, and I'll show you how we can build. Let's say you work with an existing database. Let's say this is Erwin. I don't have any model here now. It's an empty workspace. And let's say this is my SQL server. It can be any database that is supported by Erwin. So I have a database, and then let's say I will select one. I'll go for this one, Northwind. So Northwind is a database. It comes with SQL server, and it has got some 13 tables and their relationships. So just imagine that this is our database. We are going to work on this database, but we have no idea how this was designed, how they are related. And then what we can do, if we know a tool, what we can do is we can reverse engineer this database to a data model and then try to understand that data model in using the tool. So let me show you how to do that. From Erwin, what I'm going to do is from Erwin, I'm going to connect to this SQL Server instance. From here, I will connect to this SQL Server, and then I will specify this particular database to reverse engineer from. So reverse engineer this Northwind database to a data model is what I'm going to do. So go to Actions, Reverse Engineer. I'm going to create a logical physical model, and I have to specify the correct database here because I'm going to connect to this. It is SQL Server 2008. And then ignore these options here. I'll go with all the default. Click on Next. And this is SQL Server connection. So it is asking how to connect to this database. And then I have Windows authentication defined. If you don't have, you provide this database authentication username and password, whichever way you provide the credentials to connect. And then you have to specify here server name. This is the local machine. And here you specify the database name, Northwind. If it is some other database name, you just type it here. Anyway, I'm going to use Northwind. And then click on connect. That means when I press on connect, Erwin will connect to this database, and then it knows that it has to read this particular Northwind schema, and it will read the catalog and get the information about all these tables and columns, and then it will show us a data model. And click on connect. So right now Erwin is reading information from this SQL Server database. Actually, basically it is reading the database catalog to get the schema. It produced this model. So this is a very so this is a database with some 13-14 tables and their relationships. You can find the relationship here. I will be if you are not familiar with what is the notation of this is information engineering notation, which is actually every single thing on this diagram, this particular line and these symbols and these dashed lines, this entities or tables and its corners, kind of here it is soft and it is hard, here solid line, here dashed line, all these symbols, everything has some meaning from a data modeling point of view. It conveys some information to the reader of this schema. So once we know all those things, it will be very easy for us to kind of understand the meaning of this this particular design. So we can say what it means is we will learn the notation, and then we will discuss this more in detail. What we will say that there is something called order. What is the order we can figure out. There may be a definition for order, what an order means, so that you can a table definition, or if you have a data model, we will have the definition on the entity or table on the data model. So what an order means, you read it once and then you come back, they will say the order has order types. So each they'll say each order belongs to one of the order type. Then there will be many orders from the same order types, and then customer places order. So you can add some additional relationship phrases here. So customer places order, while placing order, some employees are also involved in that. Maybe the employee who facilitate placing order, and then order is placed for what? Then here, so you can see that this is a this is a connection between order and order details. So here it is. The key is order ID and product ID association here. That means an order can be placed for many products, and each product may be part of many orders, and that association is defined here. So order is placed for product, multiple products may appear in an order, and each appearance will have a unit price, quantity, and discount. Products belongs to various categories. So all this information, every single thing represented here is very kind of, it may not take a kind of few minutes to quickly go and explore and understand. So that is the benefit of reverse engineering and exploring, and then you can maintain your design in kind of, let's say this is a very simple one, right? So you may have some 600 tables in the database, and you may divide your complex data model into various diagrams and then express your design. So when we work on a project, communication between data modelers and different people who work with the database is going to improve a lot. And then also, even for me, let's say I am the designer of this, and then when I analyze this, I should be able to find out some problems. Okay, oh, this design is not correct. We cannot have we cannot place an order which doesn't have an order type. Order type must be mentioned. So that means I have to change this relationship to mandatory relationship. So this zero symbol has to be removed, because it says that order may be a part of order type. So I have to make it order must be part of order type. So I might make those changes here and also in the database. And what is the kind of how to express that in data model, and what should be the corresponding change in the database. Those things we have to learn, and then it will be very easy for us to work with the database and also communicate. Even let's say if I'm an application developer, if I know this, how data elements are related, instead of really worrying about table where I can get that information, then I will go and find out the column. Okay, I can read this is a very rudimentary way of finding information from the database. At the same time, if an application developer refer an ER diagram and then find out, okay, this is the information I want to refer, that has this many relationship with other things, and then I should be able to logically think using a model or diagram. But here you cannot have a comprehensive logical thinking because you don't know how they are related to each other. Okay, that is the essence of data modeling. And then if you look at this tool, you will find a lot of different functionalities that will make you more productive. A lot of productivity tools will be there to edit fast, to generate document from the model, and to communicate, and at the same time also to model and also to express your design. These are the tools you may find in any data modeling tool. Okay, that's what I wanted to discuss with you today. I hope it is clear. If you have any questions, you can ask.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Dilip, go ahead.
I just wanted to understand. So, do you go through some practice sessions as well apart from theory?
Yeah.
So, for example, give us an example, and you know, ask us to do some work and come back to the session, and looking into our assignment, ask us to make some changes, some kind of stuff.
Yes. Good you have asked that.
Happen?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for asking that. I forgot to mention that. Actually, we will be doing practicals for everything. Conceptual modeling exercise, one we will do together, that I was showing you a banking system requirements. And then immediately after that I will be giving you an assignment for you to do, and you go back and think about it, and then we will come back and discuss it. So you have to think and you have to do it. You have to send me a design and I will discuss that in front of you. We will discuss that together, and then we can just explore the consequences of that design. If you do this like this is going to be the consequence. If you do it like this is going to be the consequence. Yeah, from in that fashion we can discuss your design. So we will do practical, that you have to look at it by yourself and try to do it, and at the same time after you do it we will do it together to ensure that we have the correct understanding. For the conceptual modeling we will do it. For relational model normalization we will do it. I will give you kind of a fully denormalized information. You have to normalize and come up with a data model from that. And then we will do it for dimensional modeling. We will analyze a set of requirements and come up with a dimensional model. Then we will do everything using Erwin. So yes, of course, for all these sections we have practicals. Only through practicals we can learn. And I will provide you notes as well to read. Then the software, what you can do is what you need is a database. It can be any database that you are using which is supported by Erwin. And then if you go to this particular link, so if you go to this Erwin community edition, which is free to use. Other versions of Erwin we need to buy a license. Okay, it was not here. We have to go here. So if you go to the software trials link, it is through resources you have to go. Okay, go to erwin.com resources software trials here. Then you will find Erwin Data Modeler Community Edition download. So this one. These are the things we need to pay. This is the basic software, and Erwin Data Modeler Community Edition you can download by clicking here. So it will give you an option to select 32-bit or 64-bit. If you have a operating system which is 64-bit, you provide all these details. And then if your machine is 64-bit, you go for 64-bit or even 32-bit, whichever you find you can go for that. Both will have same functionality. So you can download, and then it will work on your machine without any specific license. Once you have the software, that is good enough. Yeah. Any other questions you have, Dilip? Sugna?